Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I am in a weird mood tonight. Right before I started making the videos, I was busting out a little dance. I'm not real sure. Money in the Bank overall as a pay-per-view coming into the last go-home week of the show. Honestly, to me, I want to say that I'm excited for it, but I'm not really all that pumped for it. I'm not really that sure why. I'm always used to Money in the Bank being the go-home show that gets me to SummerSlam, and for some reason it seems that maybe it was last year, and maybe I just don't remember it, but Battleground being in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam is a little bit weird to me. I always thought it was Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. Maybe I got lost in some sort of time continuum where I just got sucked into it, but I'm pumped. I'm really ready for SummerSlam. I was really hoping that with the match of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose being sort of held off as they were being put into the Money in the Bank match for the actual physical briefcase, that I thought I was going to be able to see it at SummerSlam, and more than likely maybe now it's going to go down at Battleground. But there are some matches that are going to be named. Obviously, everybody's going to be looking at the two Money in the Bank matches, the one for the actual WWE Championship, and the other one that people are going to be going for to have the chance to have the contract to be able to go after that title anytime in the upcoming year, where one future star could cash in and become a megastar, basically in the blink of an eye. I can see Cameron of the Funkadactyls, Brodus Clay being released. She's probably going to be getting a matchup against Paige, which is going to lead to the breakup of the Funkadactyls. With Brodus Clay being released, they don't really need to be a team anymore, even though seems like you would want to keep them as a team for the Total Divas show. That's still going strong, with them being travel partners and everything like that, and making them seem like they're best buddies. Maybe having them feud right now. I think they are shooting Total Divas, so maybe that's what they're actually doing this whole storyline for. But as of right now, we only have 3 matches, and the other match is the tag team title match. The Usos going up against the Wyatts, and to me, honestly, both of these teams, as of late, haven't really been hitting on all cylinders. The Wyatts have sort of been dragged down by the Bray Wyatt feud, and the Usos just have been lackeys. Why this match as a whole wasn't put on the Payback pay-per-view, I have no clue. They kept us in the dark about the Usos and the Wyatts basically being out there in the ring for the John Cena versus Bray Wyatt last man standing match at the pay-per-view, even though it was put on the pay-per-view shirt, as it was just sort of planned. I know that Adam Rose and Jack Swagger were put on there as well, and the match never happened due to time constraints, or maybe them just not being in love with Adam Rose on that day. I have no clue why they wouldn't have made that as a part of the match stipulation. I know that the Usos had been out there, and it made sense. They'd had Cena's back in 6-man tags and just running out there to make the save. But it seems to me that the Usos, how they do have wins over, Ryback Soul. They beat the Real Americans, and they beat the Luchadors. What are their names? The El Matadors back at WrestleMania. But to me, honestly, I thought that when they won the championship on Monday Night Raw, when they beat the New Age Outlaws, to me it sort of didn't seem like a real big moment. And them as champs never really meant what I really thought it was going to be. If you go back to what the Usos were, and them having the series of matches going up against the Shield, and them deciding that they were going to start painting their face in order to get them more over and start attacking the Shield and be able to have an up on it. Them actually winning the titles from the New Age Outlaws never really paid off into becoming a big thing. And I know that there is a feud between these guys, with basically the Wyatts trying to get back at the Usos for interrupting the match, and helping John Cena. That they've had singles matches on Monday Night Raw and main events, where they were, one guy beat another guy, and then the other guy beat the other guy to get him back to it. But to me, honestly, the Usos need to keep the championships to try to save face and keep going. And then and the Wyatts, they need the titles just to help their own team out, Bray went through the series of matches against John. He didn't get the big win. So we're going to have to see how, that all plays out. But at the pay-per-view, I'm picking the Wyatts to get the win, but I can see the Usos winning. We'll have to see what all plays out. But this is going to be the tag titles match for Money in the Bank, and we'll have to see what goes down. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I thought that Tuesday morning would be a great time to sit back and discuss the Money in the Bank WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. I think that Money in the Bank, as of right now, the way it's sitting, it looks like we have 3 matches, 2 announced, 1, pretty much you have to be an idiot not to know what's going to happen. When WWE went to, this sort of WWE Network thing, where we're not going to have pay-per-views anymore, we're going to have special events. I don't know what we call this. I mean, it's still, you have to pay-per-view the WWE Network. But to me, in my line of thinking, I think of the network basically is almost being free. I mean, I piss away $10 a month on a ton of stupid things. I mean, like, I pay $50 a month just to drink Pepsi while I'm at work, buying one of these Pepsi's every day for $1. So $10 to me is nothing when it comes to watching wrestling. I still feel that, I understand I have to have Hulu in order to watch the rerun of Raw, since basically dumping cable. But, it'd be awesome if they found some way with the new contract, which hasn't been announced yet, if Raw was going to be on the network the next day, or just find some better way to get more stuff. I know I can go on YouTube and watch their cut down clips. I know I can watch Backstage Pass and get a good deal of what's going down. But that's the only thing I have to fault with it. But it doesn't feel like this is a super card. It doesn't really feel like this is Money in the Bank always is a good show. 2010, 2011, 2012. 2011 might be one of the best pay-per-views they've ever done. I honestly would put it in one of my top 10 WWE pay-per-views that I've ever seen. It just doesn't seem like this would be a guaranteed slam dunk $50 to me. I'm glad that I can sit back and watch this on the WWE Network and not have to, shell out all that money when the cable bill comes the next month. But we've got the one ladder match for the championship. We've got Seth Rollins going up against Dean Ambrose, and then we have the Usos against the Wyatt lackeys. And in this ladder match, we had 2 guys, John Cena and Roman Reigns, the guy who's the franchise, the icon, the main event of the company right now, and then we have the up and comer. He's not really in NXT anymore, but he's on the roster and he's been doing his thing for over a year. And he's really separated himself from the pack, and he really looks himself in there. Go to WWE.com, look at the picture that hypes up the match. He's right in the freaking middle. He's twice as big as everybody else. They stretched him out to make you notice Roman Reigns is in this match, and he's going to be a big deal. You got a lot of guys in there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these guys have been former champions. Some of them have made a difference, some of them hadn't. You got Sheamus right now, who's lurking around. He's got the United States Championship title. He hasn't done anything in a big while, but his big push is that, he himself has looked at his comeback from his injury as he hasn't really done anything, and he wants to make an impact. He wants to be an impact player for WWE, and this is one way he really could do it. Del Rio, really surprised that he was the first guy in there, but you got to have 7 guys. And, last year they were able to do the match and have all former champions, and maybe that's what they were going for again, and then they just sort of went in a different direction. Antonio Cesaro, to me, I think it is awesome that he is in this match for the one reason that I think he is a future star. I think he is with WWE. Mainly, really is pushing for, I much rather would have had him in some sort of a Future Stars, ladder match. I know it's rumored that tonight on SmackDown, they might announce, they hinted to it on the Raw pre-show, that maybe that was the announcement that they were going to make, that they were going to have a traditional Money in the Bank match to keep on the tradition, because you don't really want the tradition to die, and you don't want to have to come around and talk about it next year, and bring up the fact that Daniel Bryan was stripped of the championship and they had to put it on there. I know that they're trying to push it like this is a really big deal, that it's the first time a WWE championship has ever been contended in a ladder match, but I don't know, Money in the Bank, you think of the briefcase, you think of holding on to that thing for up to a year and cashing it in at the right moment, like everybody has done, with the minus of Damian Sandow, who, would die to fly up that ladder this year and grab that case to resurrect the career. Who would have known that he would have been on the uphill climb to lose one match to John Cena and never be seen again, basically. I know that it's pretty entertaining. He's running out there in the Miami Heat jersey, but I don't think that the gimmick of him coming out and act like he was 10 times smarter than anybody wearing the blue robe was the best deal in the world, but it was a ton better than what they're doing with him now. The guy can wrestle. We've known this for a long time, from all the time he was in developmental, the time that he was in the tag team and everything like that. It just, some guys get the right break and they make it big, and some guys don't. Roman Reigns, I don't think it's his time to win the Money in the Bank, but he's going to be in the match. He's going to be making a big deal. Go back to the WrestleMania ladder in the match with Randy Orton, where he was in there and he just handed out RKOs. I think he RKO'd everybody in a matter of about a minute. I wouldn't be surprised if Roman Reigns is just hitting spears, making a big, huge impact in this. More than likely, Seth Rollins running out. Maybe even Triple H. And you can't do Seth Rollins, because I really think at SummerSlam, it's going to be Roman Reigns against Triple H. That's the one match that everybody's sort of been hinting at. Triple H wants to prove that he's the big dog on the block and he's not going to move over for somebody else. And I think Triple H knows that the best way he can get talent over is getting into big-time matches with him and grooming him, getting him ready for the next step, much like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Not Brock Lesnar, though. I don't want to remember that. That wasn't the best. John Cena, everybody knows at any time he could go up there and he can grab that belt. If he did grab the belt, the one good thing is it would sort of do a reset and we wouldn't have to see him and Bray Wyatt go again unless it's for the championship. And I don't think anybody's hinting for another one-on-one Cena versus Bray match unless it's a long time down the line in the future. WWE, everybody knows that they're going to be around for a long time. It's not the only time you're ever going to get these guys. Don't make it like Cena versus Orton, that you play this out so bad that, a year down the road, we get this rematch, people are changing the channel just because they think they've already seen this for the millionth time. I thought that the TLC this year was a really good match, but there were so many people that just were so soured by this being overplayed over 5 years ago. But when they just went through the Cena vs. Orton World Tour, basically on pay-per-view. Bray Wyatt, I don't think that it's a big deal that he's in this match. I don't think that he's going to win it. It would be nice if he did win it in John Cena's hometown, since Money in the Bank is held in Boston. We'll have to see if that does happen. Randy, honestly, I don't want to say it, but he is my overall favorite to win this match. I think that it just sets up that, Daniel Bryan, he's going to come back sooner than later. I don't think it's going to be right off the bat. Maybe they hold him off and his return match is at SummerSlam. But if they want Daniel Bryan to still be the guy, if they're not going to put that label on him as a guy who could be injured and send him to the back of the pack where he's sort of like a guy that matters, but in the long run it doesn't really matter. Because they're just afraid of him getting injured. It just matters how much the fans are going to get behind him. Are they going to think that since they got him to WrestleMania 30 and he won the big one, that they're going to move on to the next big thing, like in trying to get Roman Reigns pushed to the top? Or if they're going to stand behind the guy they picked and really, stand up and say that this is the guy we want and we want him to keep going. You don't really want your quarterback of your team to lose their job due to injury, but sometimes you got to go with the hotter hand that's out there. Right now I'm picking Randy to win the match. I think that they're going to do like a Roman Reigns versus Triple H. I think at SummerSlam you'd probably see Randy Orton go up against Daniel Bryan. Who knows where you go with Cesaro from here? Maybe Cesaro versus Brock, if Brock's going to be there. I don't think Del Rio matters. Wouldn't be surprised if he's not even on the SummerSlam card. Sheamus have some match nobody cares about, and that's about it. I mean, that's the Money in the Bank in a nutshell, and I think it's going to be a good one. I mean, you still got guys like Rob Van Dam, Kofi Kingston. I think Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins is going to be their own singles match. I don't know what you do with Ryback. Right? Maybe you can put Ryback in the match and try to get him jump started again. There has to be a Future Stars one. That's what I think. Keep on the tradition of the briefcase, and let's start moving in the next direction. Thank you, everybody. Peace out. Have a good Tuesday. Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. This is me with my second attempt to make this video tonight. I forgot Damian Sandow's name, and I had to really space it and block that out. Thanks, Mike, for helping me out in my time of need. Basically, I'm talking about the big news tonight that was announced on Main Event. Seth Rollins came to the ring and announced that there's going to be a traditional style Money in the Bank ladder match. This is a big pop for me. I really am happy that this is going to be happening, because although I think it is going to be cool at Money in the Bank, we are having a ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, since they had to strip Daniel Bryan. I've sort of warmed up to this a little bit, with the thought being that we can't have, this many pay-per-views without having a match. And Daniel Bryan, when he comes back, it's going to be up to the fans if they want to get behind this guy and really push him to the top. I really liked the Future Stars sort of style of the match last year, where they put 7 guys out there. Even though they were all heels, it was all 7 guys really going out there trying to make a name for themselves. It sort of sucks that Sandow was the guy who won it. Last year, if you go back in time, I think Sandow was the right guy to do it. I think that the way that they used Sandow pushing Cody has made Cody a bigger star for some reason or another. It didn't make Sandow a bigger star. It seemed like he lost that match to John Cena on Monday Night Raw, and now he's just sort of like a victim lost that's out there. I hope when you're drawing out, who's open for the pay-per-view. For right now, I really thought we were going to get Rollins versus Ambrose. That was a match that I really wanted to see, but now that they're going to be in this Future Stars match, they're probably going to be taking up 2 spots of the 7. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I would like to see this match as a one-on-one. If they do make us wait 1 more month, I'll be happy that I'm going to see this live at SummerSlam, and you won't have the blow-off of this leading into more than likely Rollins fighting Reigns, which leaves Reigns at SummerSlam a spot able to fight maybe Brock Lesnar, maybe Triple H, maybe anybody in the world that can make him a bigger star, with him sort of jumping right into the Money in the Bank chase for the championship. It sort of shows you their thoughts on where they're going. Some guys that are out there that I think really deserve to be in this match, and more than likely they're not, because you still have to have singles matches with 14 guys basically being put into 2 matches. You're going to have to fill up some undercard slots. So I was thinking Wade Barrett, a guy that that I would love to push as high up as you could. Not only would he be the Intercontinental Champion, he'd be your Money in the Bank guy. Could cash in any time. He sort of seems like he's a double threat. I see him, defending the IC belt more than likely against Rob Van Dam. There's guys out there like Big Show and Kane who don't have a match on this pay-per-view. I know Mark Henry's another name of another giant. They like to put big guys in here, help catch some guys, and just sort of put them in a big spot where it seems like they're chasing after the championship. But I'm really hoping that they go with the Future Stars sort of deal. So I wrote down names of the guys on the roster that jumped out at me right ahead. I'm putting Rollins and Ambrose in there as a lock, basically, of 2 of the 7. And then I picked Ziggler, Swagger, Bo Dallas, Ryback, Curtis Axel, Rusev, and Big E. Right off the bat, Bo Dallas and Rusev, because I went over 7 guys there. I'm crossing them off the list. I'm thinking that more than likely both of these guys will have singles matches, because Bo Dallas continuing his winning streak, and Rusev continuing his winning streak as well as the coming back. Seems like there are 2 guys that deserve to have singles matches on the card to sort of get there. So that would leave us basically with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I narrowed it down to 7 right there for you. Curtis Axel is in this match. Honestly, he just doesn't really deserve it. I don't want to throw this guy away. I think he does have some talent. It's just, I think that, Curtis Axel as Michael McGillicuddy is still fresh in a lot of people's minds. I know that Rybaxel, to me, the team doesn't really make sense. Why they're heels, because you seem like they would get dumped by Paul Heyman for not being able to get the job done. last year, and basically he just says he's not going to take them. They just sort of keep teaming together. They keep on their dastardly evil ways. You would think that getting dumped by your manager would turn your babyface, much like Mr. Fuji and Demolition or something like that. Ryback, having the Money in the Bank. Honestly, if you were able to use that as a way to ditch Axel, could really jump this guy up the card. I'm going to say that Rollins and Ambrose more than likely don't get this. Get the win in here, and then that would leave Big E, Ziggler, and Swagger. Swagger, honestly, because he's one of my fan favorite guys, I'm going to cross him off the list because I don't want to waste your time making a video saying that Swagger's going to go from basically being a nobody again to winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. I know that it would jumpstart his career. I know that he's got a long career in WWE going ahead. But from there, I'm going to see that Ziggler more than likely is not going to get it because everybody's read what you've read about them saying that he is not going to be getting the big push because they have a fear of him getting a concussion, and that's basically what ended his World Heavyweight Championship run after winning at WrestleMania 29. So basically that's going to leave it down to Ryback and Big E. Big E, I think he's done the favors. He lost last month to Alexander Rusev, and since he's lost to the championship, he's sort of been a little bit lost. Like he's been on all the shows. He's been heavily featured as a guy that's to go into the future. But he's my pick to win this match as of right now. We have one name of the 7 that's been named in there, with the Seth Rollins saying that he's already in. He sort of got the seal of approval by being part of Evolution from Triple H and then being in charge. He doesn't have to win a match in order to get there. So more than likely, we're going to have 6 matches on Monday Night Raw. 6 matches that you really don't need to... they might make a couple of them out there that could go either way. That more than likely, it's like watching a show that's like Beat the Clock. By the time the matches are announced, you're already going to know, who's going to win and what's going to happen. Almost like with John Cena, with Bray Wyatt being involved in the match already and already qualified. If John Cena didn't beat Kane, what the fuck was he going to do on the pay-per-view? Were they just going to give him his the night off and just say, hey, Cena, we don't need you to show up? No, it was pretty obvious he was going to win that match. I think that's why a lot of people weren't that involved in what was going down. But I don't know. That's my pick. Big E, get the win. Then you go from there. I don't know. I'm picking Randy Orton to win the other one. I think if Big E does get the briefcase, I think as a babyface, you're sort of in a different situation as you are a heel. A heel, you sort of sit back and you're just waiting for that right moment to cash in. As a babyface, I think you sort of have to be... sort of like how Daniel Bryan won it. I think that was the most perfect way. Just saying, I'm going to sit on this. I'm going to cash in. I'm not going to cash in until WrestleMania. My dream is to headline WrestleMania. I'm going to go after the title at WrestleMania. And, just keep pumping WrestleMania, WrestleMania, WrestleMania. As that is your, coming out party. You might lose a lot of matches along the way, but as long as you have that briefcase, you're still the fucking shit because you're going to be main eventing WrestleMania, and that's all that really matters. That's it for me. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy your night.